All right, Ms. CC, we are live. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, evening or wherever you are. It could be afternoon, but I'd like to welcome everyone that's on this amazing platform this evening. We're here to share and share our hearts with everyone why we love Karatbars, what Karatbars means to us. Well, I'll start a little bit about myself. I'm Cece Mahone. I'm the oldest sister of those two sisters. My sister is Demaui. And we've been in Karatbars about 6.5 years now. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen. I received a phone call from my sponsor, my friend, Mr. Tyrone Best. Um, my story is not unusual, but it is because I was a networker. I had been in several different companies and had been an entrepreneur probably for about 30 years. But when Mr. Best told me about Karatbars, my response was, I belong to the NFL. No friends left. So I said, okay, it's free to open up, register for your gold savings account. So I did. And I told Mr. Best, I'll sign up because it's free, but I'm not going to do anything, which was a very dumb thing to say, but it's the truth. But I did tell 5 people and I went on about my business and I was in childcare and I loved doing what I was doing and I was getting older. But then one day the light bulb came on. I got into Karatbars, but Karatbars finally got into me. And when it did in 2015, my life turned around for the better. I started sharing this opportunity with everybody that I could because I realized that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I had never heard of being free. I've heard of making money, selling products, making money by selling more products, having being garage qualified, but I had never heard about freedom and I had never really heard about having a dream. When Mr. Best approached me about Karatbars, I was 67 years old. And I'm just going to be honest, I was not dreaming. I was thinking about retiring maybe when I was about 80, but I just wasn't, I didn't have a dream. So this company has some words that just mean so much to me, and it's all starting with F. They're good words: family, friends, financial time freedom. And Karatbars has connected us with people all over the world. And we have a CEO, Mr. Harold Seitz, that cares about the future of the masses of this country, of this planet. So I am just thrilled that I'm able to be part of this awesome family. I'm happy and excited that I was chosen because I just don't even can't even imagine what I would be doing today. I might still be sitting in a rocking chair somewhere taking care of babies, but Karatbars has changed my life. It has. I started dreaming again. My goal is to help everybody to experience what I was able to experience and what I'm still experiencing. And I don't care how old you are, you're not too old. I have more years behind me than I have in front of me, but I'm living my life like it's golden because it is. Now, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our MC for this afternoon. This man has come into my life, and I'm sure a lot of people on this platform can attest to the fact he's changing everybody's life. He has stepped up. He's a leader. He has a session every morning. We go to class. I actually go to school now, and I don't have to even leave my house, and it's free. But he has blessed us with classes that are in session every morning at 8 o'clock. Uh, some of you might know, some of you don't know, but he has the DNA from his legendary father, who was Stokely Carmichael. And I was around, so I know who Stokely Carmichael is. If you don't know, then Google it. But this gentleman has his father's blood running through his veins, and He is the most giving, caring, sharing person that I know. So I would like to introduce to some and present to others Brother Eric Ture Mohammed.
Ready for evolution. How's everyone? Boy, a whole lot of people up in here. Sister Cece, thank you so much for the honor, the intro, Mr. Dalco, and all of our leaders on this all over this platform. I thank you all so much for honoring us with your presence and helping us to bear witness to the world what we have and who we are. And I really don't know what else to say other than all that have an ear, lend them. And a couple of groundkeeping rules, of course. We would love to see your face. So when the time does come where you would like to give testimony, because you're talking to a world, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you, and let's pull your camera up so we can see the pretty pearls and the Cece doing them earrings, boy, they're fire. But let us see you, let us feel your spirit and countenance. My story is quite simple. I was tricked into this opportunity. And some of you are on this stream right now that I can identify as cohorts. I see some of you right now, and it was the most wonderful thing that could have ever happened to me, because the one thing you want to be in life is relevant. You want to find a way to make a way for people. You want to find a way to leave a mark. When I was interviewed about a month ago in Belgium, we're doing an interview there, and the young lady asked me, she said, just out of nowhere, she said, "How do you want to be remembered?" And there was some gaps in the we had a couple of language barriers, but I thought initially, so maybe she means like, how do I want the credits to be written for this interview? And I started spelling out my name. She said, no. How do you, life, how do you want to be remembered? I was like, wow. I said, well, often. That's the only thing I could think of. I want to be remembered often. And how I want to be remembered, I can't necessarily say for what, but I do know that I want to be remembered years, centuries down the road. I want people to be able to walk by a plaque, walk by a structure, walk by a statue, and smile and point at the statue and thank the person in that statue because their world is better because we came today. And we're in that position. My story, I was tricked into this opportunity about a week before being introduced to it. My wife calls me, I'm on the road, and she says, "Hey, you have a video conference call at 7:30 next Tuesday." I said, "Okay." And we make other small talk, like, "How you doing? Love you. Hey, what you wearing?" Stuff like that. Anyway, get out the phone, come on. That Tuesday comes and I'm on time. I mean, I step in and I'm polishing off the laptop and I set it up in the room, and my daughter Kadira came and fixed me some coffee. I thought that was strange because that doesn't normally happen, but okay, I accepted it. And so I had my notes out, and then my brother Jamil gets on the screen, and I was so happy to see Jamil Muhammad, and we're greeting, we're talking. And then Sister Karen Jai Muhammad, who sponsored my wife in this opportunity, she gets on, and I'm happy to hear her. I said, "Oh, she and Jamil are working together. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what the project is." And then that Team Freedom brother came on with his hat turned back, and well, it wasn't turned back, actually the brim was out front. And he sat up there, he just took up the whole screen, talking about, "What's up, fam?" I didn't know who it was. I didn't know Brother Kevin at that time. And I was really trying to figure out, well, what's going on? What? It really felt like an intervention. It felt like, okay, look, you've been doing drugs too long. You've been drank too much of the Kool-Aid. Man, we got to pull you into this room and we got to shake you to the rattle. So you have to know there's something else. There's another way. There's a better way. You got to accept it. And that's how I felt it was coming. So just imagine this. You're in a ballpark, okay? And you get to choose your team, who you get to play with, who's going to be on your side. I might want Abdul from Detroit, and I might want Brother Ronell, but someone else picked him. So now I'm mad. because I wanted them on my team. So now I take my bat, my ball, my glove, and I want to walk off the field. If I can't play the way I want to play, nobody plays. But that's how I felt. That's how I felt when I realized this meeting wasn't anything that I had conjured in my own head, in my own mind. So I didn't even sit in the screen anymore. I literally did this. I stayed just like that. I didn't want to see nobody. I didn't want to talk to nobody, but my wife asked me to listen. So I had to reel it back in, and I listened. And I am so grateful and thankful that I did. It was weeks. It was almost 2 months before I even met or had seen Mr. Dalco or Mr. Best. And Mr. Dalco and I in the same state, in the same city. My wife and I had to both qualify as 5 and 5s. We traveled to Maryland as Mr. and Mrs. 5 and 5. We traveled to Maryland for a Super Saturday event, first one we ever been to. And we get there and I meet both of them. And at that event, Mr. Best said to me, he said, any man can count the amount of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the amount of apples in a seed. And I was like, wow, Minister Farrakhan said the same thing. And it just resonated. And then we out in the foyer and we're meeting and greeting other people. And he's talking and I'm trying to extract every jewel, every gem. I mean, I'm fired up. And then he says it to me again. He said, oh man, I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but no, any man can count the amount of seeds in the apple, but only God can count the amount of apples in the seed. And it stuck. We took a couple of pictures. I go back to Atlanta with the wife. I don't want to tell you how much money she had made. That was the other thing that reeled me in. I went 2 weeks just giving out her link. I didn't even have a package. I gave out her link everywhere. She turned around, she had like 8 VIPs in a week and a half, and she hadn't even looked into the business. I said, I gotta get me a package. I got to get in. But the rest was history, folks. The rest was history. And it's drawing me closer and closer to my passion and my dream. That's why class is in session. I want to teach the world. I want to share what I know, not what I believe. I was a believer in Karatbars when I first came. I'm a knower now. I understand. It's been proven to me. So those things that I know that work for me, it has to work for the next person. It has to work for Sister Pamela. It has to work for Sister Simona. It has to work for us. There's a world waiting on us. So my why is because our people are in need. And I want to be there to satisfy that need. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now, any of you that care to share, please, by all means, just raise your hand and we'll acknowledge you. Your camera has to be on or else I'm just going to pass you by like you weren't even there. We want to see
Mr.
you.
Muhammad,
We want to see you.
Mr.
Yes.
Muhammad, there is no option to raise your hand on this platform.
Now, Mr. Berger, I think there has to be because Deb Nixon has her hand raised. So Miss Nixon, how'd you do it?
Yes, sir. I was just going to open the mic and share. Underneath participants' names, it says invite, mute me, and lower hand or raise hand. Right on the right side in the column for chat room.
Well, being that she's figured it out, Sister Deb Nixon, you'll be first, but please, we're looking at 2 to 3 minutes best, okay? So we're trying to get as many people in as possible. Come on, dear sister, ready for revolution. How you doing?
Thank you, brother. I'm doing fine. I'm ready for a revolution too. Yes, sir.
Miss Deb Nixon, I'll give you
yes,
an extra minute because I'm stealing one from you. Give instructions one more time, a little bit slower, and make sure that people hear what you're saying.
Absolutely. So in the chat room area, you see the word participants at the top. And underneath everyone's names, there's the word invite, mute me, and raise hand. And then the group chat is underneath that. So it's all on the right in the chat room.
The participant.
Chat or participant room?
Participant room. Apologies. Thank you, sir.
May I say something, Mr. Dalco, Mr. Muhammad?
Yes, Mr. Maui.
If you're on an iPhone, it's different. On the iPhone, you click on more, and under more, you'll see raise hand.
Are we an awesome team or what?
Yes,
we are.
Thank you so much. All right, Sister Deb, you're on.
All right. So All right, growing up in a small town outside of Philadelphia in the suburbs, I was the oldest of 6 children. And I grew up in a family with lots of love. And I had a father that was a dreamer. And to put it all together, he was a dreamer, but he worked as a blue collar worker all his life and always put his dreams on hold. And I would spend a lot of time with my dad working on cars, and I'd watch him do blueprints, fill out big blueprints, because it was his dream to build dome homes and have dome home communities around the world. It was just one of his dreams. And I would watch him make furniture. And long story short, they grew up with a poor mentality. My parents were spenders. Henceforth, from my whole life until I became an adult, I never had any kind of person to look to toward learning about the truth of money until 10 years ago when I started to learn who I was and work on personal development. And at that time, I learned that I am able to have abundance, that I am worthy of the life of my dreams. And my parents gave us lots of love, but they couldn't give us anything else because they didn't have the mentality. They never even bought a forever home for us to have as a family home. So hence to today, when I came into Karatbars in 2016, I had just finished college as a naturopath, holistic practitioner, a life coach. After leaving corporate America for 10 years, I was a team leading coach there. And after leaving it, I went to school and found my path. And just graduated college when Ken introduced me to Karatbars. I was getting a brick and mortar business. I had my own focus. I had clients. And he introduced me to this thing called Karatbars. And I said, all right, babe, sign me up. I signed up under him, but I knew our budget, and I knew the only way that we could exchange paper for gold in our own account was to look at our debt. So I signed up in April of 16, and in June, we did our first live video, and I cut up every credit card that we owned. Let me say that again. I cut up every credit card that we owned, and we no longer gave that our attention. And we took that same money that we were going to use each month for these 10 credit cards, and we started exchanging paper for gold and getting packages. And henceforth to today, we are totally debt free.
Wow.
Wow.
My dream.
Wow.
Yes. So it's my dream to not only give back when I'm financially free and build tiny home communities. I want to build tiny home communities for young folks between 18 and 35 so they can live an American dream and have an opportunity of home ownership. And so it's my dream for that, but it's also my dream to build a dome home for my father, and it's going to be the Herman House, and that's going to be my dedication to him. I'll be the first one in my family that will be financially free. So thank you guys for allowing me to share my story, and much love. I love you all.
Love you. Thank you so much. Woo! To be debt free. There's so many phases to freedom, folks. Next up, I see Miss Sylvia Clark.
Emily. I am Sylvia Clark. I am the mother of 3 adult daughters and 1 awesome grandson. I am retired from several careers, healthcare being the most recent. In 2009, I became a widow suddenly, which altered my entire family structure. So in dealing with that, I stumbled upon the opportunity to work on my financial blueprint. It was out of the concern of how will I be able to continue what my husband and I had dreamed for our family, to create wealth, to live comfortable, and to leave a legacy. We were both savers, but we saved in traditional vehicles. My husband and I both had, our education was in finance and accounting, and never in my training and never in any discussion that I had with my husband, gold was the true money. It was the true instrument to save in. So on that trajectory, I met a wonderful person who ended up being my sponsor, Veronica Burrows, who shared the Karatbars opportunity with me. Initially, I kind of checked out with it for the first month, but she invited me to get on a power call. And in that power call, something was moved in me. So I believe we did a three-way call with Mr. Dalco. I think she also did. And I in our conversation with Mr. Dalco, I had some questions because we were savers, but again, our money was not in an instrument that was preserving our wealth or growing our wealth. And Mr. Dalco answered some questions. So I felt very comfortable. I made decisions regarding those resources that I can only, this has only been a year ago. I can only forever be grateful to Veronica and to Karatbars for this opportunity. Had I not took the moves that I made, I would have been a victim of the current stock market situation. But as a saver, I also had dreams. I had dreams of of building a Montessori school. But in the last years since my husband passed, since my parents passed, I saw how inflation and the increases in goods and services, just life essential services, have skyrocketed. And I kind of put that dream on the back burner. But with Karatbars, that dream has been reignited. What better way can you preserve and build wealth for yourself by helping other people? And that's also a dream of mine. I love helping. I love helping other people. So within the last year of Karatbars, with the last year being involved in Karatbars, I have been able to diversify our wealth, my family's wealth, with gold. I have met some of the most amazing people in my life, and I've had the opportunity to travel to three different countries, three different continents, well, 3 different countries. Woo. With Karatbars. And the trip to South Africa was just very, very nice because that was and I always wanted to a dream to take a trip together. So that was very, very special to me. So as the owner of gold, the opportunity to create residual income to help pay these residual bills, I believe that I can truly build the legacy and the dream that I have always desired for me and my family.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful testimonies. Beautiful testimonies. And I want an autograph from you and your twin there. We all get together again.
This is my middle daughter.
Okay, she's in the middle, huh?
She is the one in the middle. Yes.
They all look like twins. I don't know who's older. That's a good thing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I received that.
Thank you. Family, we're going to move to next up. Who's on deck? Brother Thomas?
Yes, sir. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And to everybody, happy Juneteenth. Let's see. My journey to Karatbars actually started in 2018. I had a friend of mine who went ahead and told me, "Oh yeah, you know, you can go ahead and make a lot of money doing gold and whatnot." So I was like, "Okay, this is cool." You know what I mean? I really wanted to go ahead and try it out and also beat out some residual debts and whatnot. I went to school for business administration and international business because I wanted to go ahead and explore more into doing more in terms of helping out people and also teaching more to everyone who needs to learn a lot more about how to, you know, become entrepreneurs in their own way. So I joined Karatbars in 18. I went ahead and bought my first cash gold in March. By March, I had a plan. I said, okay, I was going to go ahead and buy a package soon. I bought my bronze package in November as a early birthday gift to me. Not a lot of people in my family owned any gold at all. I'm the first man in the family to own any form of gold. And I said to myself, I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble a team to let everybody know that, you know, it's all right to go ahead and have gold because, you know, it's an asset and you definitely need your assets instead of having that liability, which is your dollars, you know? So I told him, I said, you can actually save more. I'm always a saver and I'm always, you know, very, how should I call it? I'm a big giver. I'm a big giver in terms of helping out people. I like to, you know, more charitable and helping out everybody whenever I can and whatnot. And then one day I got tuned in and somebody said, "Oh yeah, go ahead and liquidate your card." I went ahead and liquidated my card and went ahead and bought 10 grams of gold. And on top of that, I had a friend of mine who's in Africa himself, and I'm planning to go to Ghana in 2021. The friend who went ahead and put me up with the gold, he pretty much said, "Okay, go ahead and do this." Cool. Went ahead and done that. So I'm just very much blessed and honored to be in terms of being in Karatbars, meeting Mr. Dalco, meeting Mr. Best, meeting you, Mr. Muhammad, and everybody else on the team. I represent Team Noah and also represent everybody that's, you know, invested their money into buying gold because it's the best thing in the world, man. It really is, and I'm very blessed and honored to own a piece of this and be a part of history.
Well, we thank you, brother. We thank you so much for that testimony. And it's Team Noah.
Yes, sir.
Like the Ark. You know the powerful thing about the Ark? I was thinking about this when I talked to listened to Sister Pamela Dixon the other day. The fact that the Ark was the place of refuge for everyone, but the Ark stayed right there on the water and watched everything else go down. It didn't travel anywhere else. It didn't go anywhere else. It didn't port somewhere else. It waited till everything cleared to come back and inherit that which belonged to him. That's all.
Yes, nigga salam. I told everybody beforehand, I said, listen to me. When you have cash in your hand, liquidate that gold because guess what? Gold never go down at all. Everybody who went here and got gold with them became richer. I'm just telling everybody that, you know, I know some people are not willing to listen, but God bless them anyhow. They will listen. But I know for a fact that the first guy in the family to do that. So I'm just happy, man. I really am. I'm very honored to be.
Brother. We thank you so much.
Yeah.
Excellent testimony. Mr. Muhammad, did we lose you?
I'm here. I'm here.
There you are.
Okay. I lowered the hand of someone. I couldn't see their, oh, here it is. And I'm unmuting you now. It's in ink. It's not, there we go.
Yeah. Wyndham McDowell.
Oh, Wyndham. Hey, soldier.
What's going on, my brothers? How you? Brother Eric Tariq Muhammad. Mr. Michael Dalco. What's going on, everyone? All my wealth builders. Yeah, I want to just give my testimony from a millennial side. You know, I'm 27 years old, and I got 4 children. And like, just a brief, just keep it brief and short. Like I'm from South Carolina originally. And when you look at the presentation, those that have seen the presentation, I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. And, I haven't been back to school since. And the thing is, I wasn't a dumb child, and like I went back to get my GED at one point in time, but I failed my GED because I was lazy. I was in my comfort zone, but I passed all the subjects. But everybody was telling me that I wasn't gonna be nothing in life, and I wouldn't live to even see 22. I'm 27. I moved to Atlanta when I was 14, and I got to a bad crowd. I started gang banging, and selling drugs and doing all type of stuff. And I had a dream when I was younger, because I really loved helping people and so on and so forth. And I was very spiritual. So, I always knew that I was here for a purpose, and I had a purpose in life, to do something, but I just didn't have no direction. I didn't have no guidance. And, because of my lack of guidance, I was off, off course. I knew my family, like, I'm not like originally American, like my family's from Ethiopia. Like, I knew my family was African, but like, I really wasn't trying to know nothing about like who I was and nothing like that. Nothing. I wasn't trying to learn. And as a young person growing up, it's getting harder and harder. So, fast forward, I got locked up several times, blah, blah, blah. I moved to New York City when I was 21. And I tried to get my life together. I started getting my life together. I tried to bond with my father and so on and so forth. That didn't happen. He left me. And I had to fend for myself. I had to find out how to, live in New York. And I ended up staying with some of my cousins. But my mom, Miss RGTG, some of y'all know her as RGTG, she signed me up for Karatbars. I ended up doing another company called Swiss Gold. They scammed me, man. It was bad. But as I got older and I had a child, my first son, I just had to start realizing, I started thinking, and I started learning more knowledge and understanding that, I'm getting older and I'm having more children. This is my second child. I got a daughter and I got a son, and this was my son. And then I had another child. And then now I have a 4th child. So it's just like, I was like, man, during this process of having my son, I had to think what I got to do to get rich. I can't keep doing the same thing as what I see other people doing, going to get a job, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't do that. But my mom signed me up for Karatbars. And then one day I just started taking it serious. I was like, man, no, I got to do this. And I started understanding. So now I understand that the road to wealth and to build wealth is the Karatbars. Learning from these mentors, Mr. Jalko, Mr. Eric Teray Muhammad, Mr. Ty Best, and humbling myself as a millennial to continue to grow, because I wasn't growing when I was 18, 19, and so on. So my why is economic liberation for all of my people, and that's what I'm gonna do. Make sure I got that in my house, and then make sure I can help those that came through the same kind of lifestyle as me. Develop their mind and economically liberate themselves. That's my why. That's why I'm in Karatbars. That's why I'm learning continuously.
We appreciate that so much, dear brother. We appreciate that testimony, beautiful testimony. Family, we're looking at our whys, we're looking at our hows, and just as important in this, in what you've heard, for all those that are listening, you're watching a group of wealth builders. We are a family. We're a collective that understand the power of what we have, and we're sharing with you what this opportunity has done for us. And we're going to move right on to Miss Pamela Dixon. Miss Dixon, are you with us?
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to share my testimony. I am one of 7 kids in my family. I am like the third one from the top. Come from a divorced family. Born in St. Louis, Missouri. Moved to Muskegon, Michigan so that my grandmother could help raise 7 children. Came up thinking poor. Never thought about vacations. Loved math. Given responsibility at a young age, because I had younger siblings, mothering up in hospital, trying to help out, leave, go to college, graduate from college in bookkeeping, accounting, doing it all. Never heard anything about gold being money, but yet having my siblings, my family always coming, requesting money, asking for money, needing help. Long fast forward, I get married. I'm married and getting ready to retire, have a 401. Lord told me, well, before then, Lord told us come out of debt. Okay. Worked on coming out of debt. Lord told me my husband was going to retire and I was going to be still working. So I did what the Lord said to do. He retired in 2009. I came out 2010. So he did retire before me. Lord told me take that 401 and put it in gold. I went and saw a financial advisor. I inquired how to go about putting my 401 in gold. I had a pension. Inquired how to go about putting it in gold. And he told me gold was a commodity that he could take it and put it in a traditional IRA and make me money. I having no other knowledge about gold. I went on and allowed him to do that. Fast forward 5 years ago. Now my money is in a traditional IRA. I have a member at church. He turns in his tithes and offering in cash gold, not cash gold, but in Karatbars gold. And I didn't dawn on me. Nothing came to me, to my remembrance. And I went to him, I said, what am I supposed to do with this? Not knowing. He said, just hold on to it. Never approached me about Karatbars or anything other than telling me to hold on to it. And that's what I did, okay? Afterwards, the Lord brought it back to my attention last year. I told you to put your 401 in gold. And so I started seeking, okay, how do I go about doing this? And I'm out there on Facebook and I run across an individual who was signed up in terms of Karatbars. And it was actually 2 of them. And I'm looking at it and contemplating, and I kept paying attention. I kept looking at it, and it was talking about the coins. And I said, okay, I know how to do it. So I called the financial advisor and I asked her, remember my question you, how to take and put my money in gold? And he said vaguely. I said, well, I know how to do it now. So that's what I need to do to be obedient. And first thing he told me was, well, you know, a third of that you have to pay in taxes because it was pre-tax. And I thought, okay, so if a third go in taxes, then by right, 10% go in tithes. How about I cash it out and do what the Lord told me to do? So I cashed it out, paid my taxes, paid my tithes, and put it in, the rest of it in gold. And after I did that, and Lord blessing, and I'm looking, I said, you know what? I have another IRA. I'm gonna put that in gold on. So I cashed that one out. And then I talked to my family and my husband. I said, this is what we need to be doing. And so in talking with them and in terms of getting the package and in terms of working a business, because my other thing concern was we're paying too much in taxes. My house is paid for. All our stuff was paid because Lord said come out of debt. And so we were paying a lot in taxes. And so in looking at this and looking at, I could start a home-based business. That's what I did. Started a home-based business. It was like last year. I said, I have to go to Atlanta. I seen it where everybody was going to be. I said, I need to find out in terms of Al Austin, Mark Pyers, taxes, how to do all of this. So the week before, I didn't have a hotel room. I didn't have anything, but I got a ticket. I went down there by myself, got there, asked the person, can I room with you? She didn't have a roommate. Room with her, told Mr. McKay, you didn't get a extra Gladiator ticket, so he gave me his, so I could go to the Gladiator.
Wow.
And
Got to go, had it shipped home,
yes.
and then they canceled.
So yes, so my husband now is on board. All of them have packages, all of them are VIPs set up. He's just signed up in terms of the auto exchange and stuff, and so working it and sharing with any and everybody who have an ear to hear to let them know that gold is money, because I went to Susie Orman, I went to Dave Ramsey, I went to Robert Kiyosaki. All of these, and none of them ever said anything about gold. So I thank God for Karatbars. And when I even qualified for this, I didn't even know what that meant. I said, well, they're going to put my name in the bucket and they're going to draw. She said, no, you qualified for this. Couldn't go to Amsterdam, so I gave it to somebody. I found out I could give it, and I gave it to somebody. But when it came to Madrid, I said, I'm on my way.
Yeah,
So
we got pictures of you. We saw you.
So
Thank you so much, dear sister. Thank you so much.
Mr. Muhammad, let me jump in for half a second, man. That's what I'm talking about. See, when I tell you guys that I get an inbox a week of people saying what Minister Dixon just said, like working their whole life. That's what this call is all about, letting people in the world know, yeah, there's a phenomenal business opportunity behind this. You can make a fortune in this by referring others. But the number one thing you have to get in your mind is what Sister Pamela Dixon said, moving that paper into gold and growing your wealth, because gold sustains your wealth. I can't tell y'all how many people have said for the first time in my life, I mean 30-year-old, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people saying, I've never saved money in my entire life. This is the first time ever. So thank you so much, Sister Pamela Dixon, for that awesome testimony. Back to you, Brother Muhammad.
Thank you. Thank you. Family, we're going to keep it moving, keep track of the time. Give us 3 minutes or less. Let's go. Next up is Brother Supreme X.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, family. Wealth Builders. Man, my why, real quick. I got 3 minutes. Let me make sure I don't want to go over time. All right. So my why is I've been a student in the Nation of Islam. And when I joined Islam and transformed my life and changed my life, I knew that gold was money because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's been teaching this since the 70s, right? And so I knew gold was money, and I just didn't know nothing about it. But I grew up, we used to wear it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We used to want gold tea, gold cars, all that type of stuff there. But I never knew nothing about gold bullion. And feeling hard times, this is the quick version, this is a short version. Feeling hard times 2016, went to studying cryptocurrency, a coin called OneCoin, a sister out of Arabia was putting together. And I'm studying crypto, but as I'm studying crypto, I get exposed to network marketing. I'm like, whoa. So I'm looking to do MLMs, you know what I'm saying? Anything but a job, you know, I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? This is the way to freedom right here, right? So I'm looking and looking. I didn't get the money to get inside of OneCoin, but that flopped, that ICO flopped. So it's a good thing. So I got saved with that. But then I'm trying to get into an organic product business. I couldn't get the funds and raise the funds up to get into that. And then I got inboxed about Karatbars by my sponsor, Vincent Muhammad. And when I seen it, he sent me one video from Facebook. When I seen it, I didn't need no 3-way or nothing. When I seen it, I went and checked it out. Like, I ain't gonna even say it like I did research on it. I just went and made sure that it was a legit company, legit business. And that's all I did. And I signed up. It took me about 5-6 weeks to get my package. I started with the silver package. Now I'm VIP. I sponsored over 352 people. The organization is growing, and not one of my family members from my father's side or my mama's side is in the business doing it with me. And I had did it totally without them, but I'm the only one in the family with gold, and I'm the only one in the family free. So that's my testimony right there. That's why Karatbars. So my children right now, I got 4-year-old. We got a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 4-month-old that me and my wife got, my beautiful wife. We retired her February the 1st. She free. She under 30, so she didn't retire. The first one of her retired at early. So man, that's what Karatbars does. That's why Karatbars, because it allows us to free us. So now we're trying to build it up so we can free her mother and free my father. That's why Karatbars.
Man. Thank you. All right, y'all, we're going to keep it rocking. Sister Beverly Elliott, you're next.
Good evening, family. First, I want to be thankful that get the chance to say something today. I want to say briefly that I met Mr. Stokely Carmichael, was his name at the time, here in Lynchburg, Virginia, back in the 60s. And I remember we all got together and they taught us to say, beep, beep, bang, bang, Ngao, Black Power. That's what they said. Anyway, I want to give the attention to that. So anyway, I'm part of now the 2020 part of what's going on with Karatbars. When Simona Elliott, my sister-in-law by marriage, which is my sister-in-law now, came to me, I could not understand what she was saying because I was in the middle of coming out of my house, which was on 1600 Crittenden Street, a straight line from the White House. And my husband and I, who was a retired professor who has passed now from Howard University over 40 years, were in retirement plan. And we had done everything we were supposed to do. So we thought to do what we were supposed to do to, for me to have the benefits of his retirement. He would have been, a few weeks ago, he would have been 100 years old this year. But anyway, he lived to be 96. So all of a sudden, there was no retirement. You know, y'all teach that now on financial literacy, how this retirement goes away. Well, that's what happened to me. So all of a sudden, what I thought was a secure life and the life that I would live there all the days about the rest of my life, all of a sudden, I was within a few days of having to come out of the house. It went from foreclosure to auction. But the Lord raised up someone to help me, and I was able to get out of there, pay the bank off, get out of there. And I came back to my hometown right outside of Lynchburg, Virginia. So what I'm saying now is I asked God what to do after I was only got a tenth the value of my house. That's how bad things were. I only got the tenth the value of my house. So of course I tithed first, and then I had to get a car because my car was 16 years old and giving me some problems. So I said, Lord, what do I do with the rest of this? What must I do? This money is sliding fast. And after I tithed and I got my car, I said, this money is sliding fast. It don't look like it's gonna be here longer. And then I was able to hear my sister-in-law. I said, call me back. That same day I told her to call me back, I got my VIP package from the original system that was in place last year. Yeah. And a few days later, I met with Dr. Sergio Razel, my single sponsor, and he began to say something about, I'm gonna send you a video, and I need you to take a look at this, and I'll call you back. I said, okay, because things were going fast for me. I didn't have any financial literacy. And it was talking about the node. And I'm going like, I don't know what that thing was talking about. All I know, they said something about residual income. And all I know about my point of reference, whatever that was, it means money will continue to come, continue to come, continue to come. I said, well, I don't have time to study this, but okay, this is what I'm going to do. My battery is going to go out in a minute. So if I go out, that's just about the end of my testimony. Anyway, my sister's phone is on, but I'm not on your thing. So anyway, this is when I got into that. And so I'm a node holder now. I still don't know all that it means, but guess what? I am in Karatbars, and I'm like the apples and the seeds. Anybody can count the amount of apples and the seeds, because that became my symbol when I was in DC. It still is. Anybody can count the amount of seeds in the apple, but only God knows how many seeds are in an apple. And that's the way I am with the Karatbars, about where this is going and how the Lord will multiply this, just like He did 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. That same principle is true for me. And I thank God that I'm here and I'm learning as we go, and I'm increasing my financial literacy. My dream is to get my footage here where I captured all the oil life issues I could for the past 25 years. And my other dream is to get some rider things there, and when we have our conferences, when we get together. 200 folks over here, so I was okay. Oh, am I still there?
You're still on, sister.
Okay, and to get something in place because I'm a retired registered nurse, and I want to get something in place so people that don't feel so good at our conventions will have some place to go, and we can start a rider, those who, what do you call them, golf scooters, to go around and get people from one place to another, and for people to come, at least get checked out. Those Beautiful. Things is what I would like to do for my immediate dreams right now. Beautiful, and my sister and I would no longer be left behind, and my family would no longer have to suffer lack. That's all I can say real quick.
Woo, thank you, thank you. One thing that's very clear about all of us, we all want to help, we all want to serve, we all want to give back in the way that God has blessed us. And this is the first opportunity. So those of you who are on this stream who know nothing about Karatbars, you're in the right place ahead of time. Get back to the one who introduced you to this stream. Let them know you're ready to get busy, get started. It all starts for free. And matter of fact, the first 4 letters of freedom. Free.
Free.
Let's get it in. Thank you, Sister Beverly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Next up is Sister Debbie Shaw. Is Debbie Shaw, are you there?
I am. Hello, hello, everyone. My journey started in 2016 when I was introduced to Karatbars. Miss Rosalind Range, who is my sponsor, she invited me to, back then what we had was PGRs, private go receptions, after church, because we were talking after church. And she said, well, if you're not doing anything, come to the PGR. And I went to the PGR. When I found out it was about gold, I said, sign me up. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I've experienced home-based businesses before. But at the current time in 2016, I was going through a divorce, and I was preparing for major surgery at the same time. So I started out a little slow because those two items slowed me down. So it was a slow start in the beginning. But on the day that I had surgery, I plugged in to the Freedom Call that night. And Mr. Tybes asked on that call, wait a minute, who's in the hospital? Well, I wasn't doing anything, so I plugged in and I got on the Freedom Call. And I told him, well, that was me, Miss Debbie Shaw. He just gave so many nuggets. It touched my heart, it touched my soul. And I said, as soon as I'm back up on my feet, I have to get started. And I was constantly in contact with Miss Rosalind Range. I said, I got to get started with this business. And so I pulled money out of my 401k and acquired a lot of gold in the beginning. And then I said, okay, I have to stay busy. I have to stay busy because I had a lot going on. But I was looking at the first incentive, which was to Hong Kong. And I was looking at the qualifications for that. So I got busy and I qualified for an all expense paid trip to Hong Kong. And that was my first experience traveling with Karatbars. I did qualify. I went to several other incentives with Karatbars. It was also Frankfurt. I went there, Dubai.
Good, great.
And the latest one was Madrid. I didn't win the incentive, but I said I'm going anyway. And
well, let me say this. I know we're short on time, but Miss Debbie.
Yes.
The Frankfurt, Hong Kong. Did you say
Dubai.
All expense paid?
Yes, all expense paid trip to Hong Kong. That was Karatbars' first incentive.
Whoa.
And
family, I don't know why y'all sitting on the sideline. Y'all need to get it on in while you can. Come on, Sister Debbie, bring it.
Yeah, along with my sponsor, Miss Roz Range. And I said, Roz, I'm going to Hong Kong. And I said, you know what, you're going too. and she was so surprised and she didn't even know. And so we had the Golden Visionaries went to Hong Kong along with two other Golden Visionaries. And but my why in Karatbars is my grandson. He's autistic, and I'm going to homeschool him. He's 6.5 years old. And also, I'm the first person in my family that started saving gold.
All right.
I introduced other members to the family, but the only person that joined me was my sister, Eunice Shaw, and my two daughters. And so my journey continues. I'm focused on growing my team, and I have saved more money in Karatbars in these past 4 years than I have 10 years working for a major airline.
Praise God.
And
thank you so much.
That's my journey.
Is that the general synopsis from everyone? The fact that, Mr. Dalco, I hear often how much people say, Mr. Abdul was on a moment ago, and he was telling me how he saved more in Karatbars in 6 years than in his entire life. And he's always made money, but he's never been able to save it until he came to the right opportunity. Amazing. Amazing. S. Snowland, you're next.
Greetings. Can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Greetings, Brother Teray, Eric Teray, and all the Wealth Builders family. Sheila Nolan out of Washington, D.C. And I just want to say thank you for having this platform to allow us to share. And shout out to Ms. CC Mahone and Mr. Maui. And I want to say cheers. Remember this. Thank you so much, ladies. I love you all. But this is truly amazing. I want to say I was introduced to Karatbars by my sponsor, Ms. Valerie Smith. Shout out to Valerie, for introducing me to an incredible company. Yeah, and you know, it didn't take me long to catch on to, to what was being shared with me. I was one of the ones that knew that gold was valued, just never knew it was considered money. So, I want to thank Harold Seitz for just allowing us to be a part of such amazing opportunity such as this, and how we're able to help people all over the world and be a blessing as well. And, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Karatbars and Wealth Builders Worldwide. I've had some trying times in my life, and I'm sure, a lot of us have, but, we all deal with things different. So I remember being in the hospital myself and being plugged in to the power calls. And that was my inspiration and my motivation that kept me going through my, through my difficult times. So I'm just thankful that for Wealth Builders Worldwide and Mr. Ty Best and Valerie Best for Wealth Builders Worldwide, and Mr. Michael Dalco. You all are tremendous leaders, and without you, there would be no us. Without you, there would be no us, because you are the reason why we are here today. And I'm just thankful to be a part in helping people. And like some of the others said, it's, when it comes to your family, I mean, I was the first one in my family to be a goal saver, and I'm the lone soul. So, hey, I definitely can relate and understand, but guess what? That didn't stop me, because I believed in the product, and I believed in Harold Seitz' mission to helping the people. And just by getting paid to save real money, I mean, that how can you go wrong with that? So, this opportunity has really been a blessing to me and to a lot of you all as well, I know, and it touches you in different ways, and it really touches your soul. And the fact that we were able, to dream, Mr. Best always talks about dreaming, and this opportunity allowed us to dream, to dream again. And one of my dreams, my life dreams, was to make enough money to help my mother. She was a single parent raising 5 children. God rest her soul. And I'm, and that was one of my dreams, Mr. Best, to help my mom who struggled raising 5 children, but she did a wonderful job. She did a wonderful job. And I'm truly thankful for all of you, the leaders. I'm not even gonna name names you are, but I love you all, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. Shirley Goldberg, Tammy Morrison, the list goes on, all you moderators, thank you for everything that you do. And there's no other place I would rather be than be right here with the Wealth Builders family. So shout out to you all. Shout out to you all. I love you all. Wealth Builders for life. We tried to tell them, Mr. Best.
Hey, Mr. Best.
I want to sneak in just real quick, because I want to hear from everybody. But now, Mr. Dalco created something last night. You're an OG now. That stands for Original Gladiator. You were at the first Let's Go weekend, so you're designated. You're OG. We have to get a pin or something, Mr. Dalco, so people don't have to wear them 7 bands and shade even every one. Get a little pin and say you're an OG. You're an Original Gladiator. You had the first Let's Go weekend. So thank you for sharing the testimony. Back to you, Mr. Brother Muhammad. Great. Everybody's outstanding, man. I just want to hear everybody. Please, I want to hear everybody. Okay, everyone. I'll be there. You get finished.
Hey, and Mr. Muhammad, let me say something since Mr. Best jumped in about Sheila Nolan. She is truly phenomenal. And Mr. Best, I was looking in my back office this afternoon and saw a matching bonus, Johnny Price again. And I'm telling you, guys, Sheila Nolan is a part of that lineage. I would have never met Sheila Nolan. I knew Valerie Smith. We grew up together as kids, but I had forgotten about her. And just the fact that Johnny called me one day and said, Mike, I want to do this. Here it is. Some 5 years later, there's Sheila Nolan with her awesome testimony. Johnny Price has transitioned onto the next side and still getting paid. Mr. Best said something on the day. He said, Mr. Muhammad, he said this guy was kind of bashing network marketing, saying they've never stayed true to their mission of creating a legacy business. That ain't true. That's not true. Mr. Johnny Price got paid today. That means whoever he gave his business to, they got paid today. And Miss Sheila Nolan's a part of that lineage. And it continues on and on. And Kevin Thompson is a part of that lineage. It goes on and on and on. Folks, open your eyes just a little bit and they'll come wide open. This business is amazing. So thank you, Sheila Nolan, for that testimony.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mr. Delco, and thank you, Mr. Best. And thank you again, Brother Eric Teray, for allowing me to share that. Thank you, everyone.
For allowing me to stand on your shoulders. Thank you so much, all of you. All right, next up, Simona Elliott.
Good evening, everyone. My testimony begins, well, first of all, I just want to greet everyone and shout out to all the leaders. Thank you so much. Thank everyone so much. I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. I really haven't. Where people bond together and stick together for one cause other than the cause of Christ. And so my journey started with my sister, Tia Stanley, who introduced, she was talking to me one day, you got to get in this, you got to do this. And I'm like, I got to do what? And, you know, she had been in some other things. So I was thinking that, you know, this is just one of those things again. I said, okay, just sign me up. And, you know, if it's free, just sign me up. It can't hurt. So she signed me up about 3-4, maybe about 2 months later. I was at her house because she lives a little bit from me. So I was at her house and she was like, you're going to sit down and listen to this. This is about gold. I said, what? This is about gold? Why didn't you tell me before this was about gold? Because since I was in my 20s, I knew that gold was something. I didn't know all about it. I used to listen to 105.1 and the gentleman used to talk about a kilo and $800. Well, I was maybe like 21, 22. I didn't know how I was going to trust someone of a different color with my money of $800. I'm in college. I didn't know how to get that done. I didn't know how to get that $800 since I was in college. I didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't trust everybody with my money. But I knew that gold was something of value. I already knew. If you look at the kings and queens from Africa and all back in the day when they wore all that gold, they looked like people who were rich. They were rich in everything. They just looked so beautiful with that gold on. So I knew it meant something. I didn't know everything. So when she talked about the gold, and as I started to plug in, I was like, oh yeah, this is the place for me. I'm not going anywhere. I am the oldest of 6 kids. So Tia is my baby sister, but my family, hey, they didn't really have a choice. I just started signing people up. So everybody, I just signed them up. I told my 2 boys, my 2 biological sons, because I raised 5, my 2 biological sons, they were like, Mommy, we're not about that gold thing. I said, good. You have to be about that gold thing. Just don't come to me for no money. You got your own account. So just to let you know, I'm not going anywhere because I'm creeping up to retirement, and I need to retire in with wealth, closing that wealth gap in my family and around me, in my community. Also, I need to take care of my mom who's aging and help her out. And I just want to leave you with this. It was something else when I won that trip to South Africa, to Dubai. I won a trip, all expenses paid and everything. And what? Where does this happen? Where do people look out for each other?
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Where does, oh, come on, I'm about to cry, so I gotta let it go. But I had a trip to South Africa. I didn't make it because my son graduated that day. But it was enough in my heart to see that I want a trip somewhere. I've been in other things, and it didn't come like this. And last, Mr. Dr. Harold Sight, that man is so real. I heard his testimony, and I knew he cared about people, and that's where I want to be, where people care about people. Thank everyone for all that you do.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Brother Ken Nixon, the other half of those Nixons.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have several testimonies, but the one that sticks out to me the most is the story of about 4.5 years ago. I was struck with an illness where the doctor told me I couldn't work anymore. So I got introduced with Karatbars by Dr. Earl Nixon, and I looked at it, but it took me about 3 months to really look at it. When I finally looked at it, I signed up right away. Then I signed my wife up. During the course, we were going through it and trying to figure it out and everything. So then I got a check in the mail. It was from my life insurance policy. They canceled me. So after I got that back, I tried getting other life insurances because I was trying to figure out how my wife was going to get taken care of if something happened to me. So I tried everywhere I went. They kept canceling on me, telling me that it wasn't going to cover me anymore. So after looking in the Karatbars, I come to realize I don't need a life insurance policy.
Go ahead. Cover yourself.
Because Karatbars International is the best life insurance policy anybody could have. So I don't have to worry about my wife. I don't have to worry about anybody. Generational wealth. And that's my story.
Man, it just keeps getting gooder and gooder. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. And thank Dr. Earl Nixon for bringing someone who will stick and stay because he understands it's greater later. Thank you, brother. Brother Fitzgerald Stevens, you are up.
Hello, everyone. I can't believe I'm nervous here. I make videos every dang day, but I'm nervous on this one. Where do I start? Simple. I didn't get into it for the goal. I wasn't thinking about it. Come January 15th, 2015, 7:30 p.m., 17 degrees, Buffalo, New York. I get a call from a man I've been knowing 23 years, Michael Delco. It kind of stunned me. When he called me, I said, Michael, what's wrong? Because I've get on it for years, so he don't like to pick up the phone much with me. And so he calls and he said, Fitzgerald, I have this business. It's free to join. It deals with gold. Sign me up. Simple as that. I didn't even know what I had. I didn't figure that out till about a year or something ago. What year later, when I heard my friend Sherry Brown, because her and I all know each other. She was talking about a training system. I called Michael, I said, what do I have in my hand? And he told me, okay, I purchased a business package. And he said, you have 139 people in your organization. I said, where'd that come from? And he said, I put in there. Okay, say no more. So I went to work and I started out slow. Got a bit bronze package. That's all I could afford with my college degree from the University of Alabama and my 25 years in sales and marketing and my non-criminal record and my looking good and being broke. I was telling my wife, hey, we made $70,000 last year. Where'd the money go? We were still living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Buffalo. I'm driving a 1995 Toyota Camry. She's driving a 1999. So I knew I had something, and my biggest desire was to be free. Ladies and gentlemen, I was that type of person. Even if I was working for you, I'm still thinking about my own game. I'm still thinking about being able to control my schedule. I'm still thinking about, being able to make the money I want without having anyone to ask for promotions and stuff. So And I was a good worker. Problem is, I wasn't getting anywhere. So I plugged into the wealth building system. Heard about a gentleman named Mr. Ty Best. I kind of started liking it because Michael used to talk about him so much, and I found out it was actually more than what Michael said he was. And so I started calling him in early functions to build my business. And I went to work. I had the ability to take no, because in my mind, I didn't have nothing to quit to. I wanted to quit, wanted to quit at times, and it would last all about a millisecond, but I knew I didn't have anywhere to go. Plus, I knew I was getting older. I started at 50. And so the idea of me just having to start all over and to work and on someone's job, and hopefully I'll find their favor and their graces. That was disgusting to me, because I just didn't want to keep doing that, And so
I don't know what's going on. All I know is keep going out.
We plugged into the training. We learned what we didn't know. I hung on to Michael like he hung on to Mr. Best. And Michael taught me, even though we have been knowing each other, Michael had something that I wanted, and I had the ability not to say, "Oh, that's just Michael." I was like, you know what, this man knows something I don't, and I listened to it, and I started going slow and slow and slow, and all of a sudden, a lot of the no's start coming a few yeses, then start coming a few yeses. Then I started compounding that. It started duplicating. Now, one of the blessings that happened to me is that I knew how to struggle. So I didn't need to go out there and spend all my money. I didn't need to go out there and keep doing anything. If you look at me right now in my wallet, I probably got about $11, but I have thousands of dollars in gold and cash gold and cryptocurrency. As far as I'm concerned, it don't exist. And I just look at that, what I'm still operating with $11. I looked on the payout today. I said, well, I can't get to that till the next MasterCard come up. Well, I still got $11.
True wealth builder there.
And the gas is full, and maybe I'll go down to get me an ice cream bar. I don't know. But I try to go out. I try to go back out, try to work. Because sometimes Karatbar can almost make you feel guilty the way you earn your money. Because, you making up. I mean, one time I earned 320 euros before I finished eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So you got to think like, God, I need to be doing something. And sometimes I woke up, off the mattress, and I had money in my account, and I'm on the bike trail. I had money in my account. And then I said, well, I need to go to work. But that don't make sense, because if I go out there and get a job, I'm costing myself money by finding a job. So I started. There was a company that bought a stadium down in Orlando. You know it as the Amway Center. So that's why I really taste got a hold of a lot of my networking experience. And so I remember there's this one gentleman years ago. He was a double diamond by the name of Randy Haugen, and he taught about the importance of building depth. The importance of building depth. Mr. Best is shaking his head because he knows exactly where I'm going with this. So we used to do a tape of the week club from a gentleman named Dexter Yeager. He was, he was the best in the game. So I took all that information, but it wasn't working for me on that group, but the concept was working. So I had been training years and years. So I remember that tape in my head about building depth. And that's exactly what I started doing. I would sponsor, and it had about 125 people between the two accounts, my business and personal accounts, both VIPs. And so I started sponsoring, finding a high impact people who were doing something. Then I just started driving. I just started digging a well. I just started finding them. Well, they were happy because I was helping, coming on their YouTube channels and helping build their team. And I automatically was getting them because I was looking for me. I was looking for Miss Glaspie. I was looking for Mr. Delco. I was looking for Mr. Rodney Roach. I was looking for Ricardo Hammond. I was looking for all these leaders, but I stopped doing that, and I started trying to create the best version of what these people can do. See, you got to support your people. You got to support your people. Now, if you build depth, if you drive depth, and what I mean by depth, okay, your sponsor, that's wide, that's your width. For Mr. Delco, about 500 something plus people. One of my persons in my downline, Dinah Samir, he's sponsored by 500 and close to 580 right now. About like 88. But what I've been doing, I got in his team and I just started driving it down and down. Well, he's jacked because he's making euros. Sometimes out earning me. And then I find other people. Then we're doing streams in England and doing streams in Australia, all debt. And then after a while, I'll start going back in my strategy of using some width like that. But you really, really, really want to supercharge your business. Find someone with fire and get behind them and support them. You know, promote the system. Promote the system, promote the system, promote the system. Don't try to be everything to everyone. As a matter of fact, do a little takeaway, be a little firm with people. I don't ask people, you know, do you look for ways to make money? What's it about? Wealthbuildersworldwide.info. Did you watch the video? Yes. Okay. What's it about? Did you watch the video? Okay. You see an opportunity for yourself. Go ahead. All right. Let's get you registered. I don't ask you, what do you think? You know, let's go ahead and do a 3-way call. You know, and I'll get on there and I'll do a 3-way call and I'll do this thing. And then I'll go over their website with them. Then I'll plug them into Wealth Builders. When they said, hey, we can't find any sponsor, anybody to sponsor. I'm like, don't bring certain things to me. You know, there's 6 billion people in the world. What do you want? Let's do a goal assessment. And that's all I do. And I'm working this more stronger now than I ever when I first started, because I know a little now, but I don't know anything. All I do is just focus on the people, build the people like Mr. Best taught Mr. Delco, and I let them build a business, but I let them know 100% I'm supporting them. And, you know, you just got to get behind them. And, you know, and I'm genuinely happy to see people win. I really am.
Well, we appreciate that, brother. We appreciate it so much, man. The value, the nuggets you're dropping. Mr. Best, you have anything for us?
I do want to add something, and I'm gonna be 3 seconds, folks. I want to ask everybody, try to take about 2 minutes, because I know we got a lot of folks who want to say something. And I know at 9 o'clock, we got this live presentation coming up in about 40 minutes. So we want to get through. I mean, I don't want to miss in. I want to hear everybody. Tell your story as fast as you possibly can. Back to you, Brother Muhammad.
Thank you. Next up, Busy Bird.
Good evening. Good evening.
Oh, hold on, Busy Bird. You're not doing it right. You're supposed to have your camera on. Ms. Bird, you got your camera available? There you go. Hold on, you still muted.
I was saying to Brother Fitzgerald, Steve was out saying outstanding message. Building depth is where it's at, man. We can do a whole training on that. But that's where the fire starts. The fire starts from the bottom up. Build depth, work with your people. Great message.
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Tonight is my first night on the call, and I'm not sure how I ended up here, but I know I'm in the right place at the right time. In 2 days from now, I will receive the largest amount of money at one time that I have ever in my entire life. I am petrified because I am not sure in where to do, what to do. I know I don't want to leave it in a bank. I've been introduced to cryptocurrency just 6 months ago. So I have Bitcoin and I have some Ethereum. I was on another platform.
Ms. Bird, let me ask you this real quick. Do you know who invited you to the call?
No, not really. There's another platform. Something popped up and this link was there, and I just asked what was the password and meeting ID. They didn't send it, so I tried again, and I was able to get in. But
excellent.
I can't give you a name.
I'll send you some
no.
information. I'll send you some information, Ms. Bird. Continue with your story, please.
Okay, thank you. So again, I do have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, and I was on another platform recently, and the sister said she building crypto, saving gold, and spending fiat. Some of you may know the young lady. So I recently acquired 2 credit cards in the last year for the first time in my life, because I never wanted a credit card. I knew they was not something that I wanted personally for myself. But someone said if I wanted to repair my credit, then to get some credit cards. So I have 2 credit cards. They're less than $1,000, but moving forward, I am looking for some place to put some of this money that I'm going to be receiving on a regular basis. As I said, I'll buy more Bitcoin, I'll buy more Ethereum, but on the other platform, they mentioned Karatbar. So I don't know exactly what Karatbar is, how it works. This is my first time here. So I would like to receive more information. How often is this call, the website, video?
Welcome to the rodeo.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the rodeo. Are you familiar with the chat rooms or how to answer the chat rooms here, Ms. Bird?
Yeah, I put a little message in the chat about 15 minutes ago.
I just sent a message to you in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm glad to be here, and I know about whys. You know, I learned that from Jim Rohn. Your why have to be greater than your what.
That's it.
My why is my granddaughter. I have one grandchild. She's 2 years old, and so she also had Bitcoin and Ethereum. My 3 sons, they're not hearing me, so I'm just going to show them better than I can tell them, because they're not listening to mom. You know, they 30 years old, 29, 28, but they don't hear me. And I'm like, that's okay. Then I'll just put everything into the grandchild. And when she gets 5, 10, 15 years old, she's going to be good. So I'm building the wealth for her. I'm really excited to be here because, like I said, I'm almost petrified about this money that I'm going to receive in a couple of days. So
you're amongst family. You have no reason to feel petrified. You're in the right place, as Mr. Dalco would always say, ahead of time. Mr. Best, before we move on to the next one, could you speak to you said something on the stream yesterday with Mr. Dalco about what's more important in terms of whys, hows, and what to do. Could you elaborate a little bit? I quoted it on the stream where you talked about how your why is more important than the how.
Well, I think she just said it. You got to have a why. You got to focus on the why. But Mr. Muhammad, I want to ask that question, but I'm telling you guys, I love to hear people's story, man. I don't want to get started. I don't want to get cranked up. I want you to go to the next person. Let the next person take that 1 minute, 2 minute, and tell why they got in Karatbars. You got to be fast with that. Why you got in Karatbars, why you here, what's happening, you get it done. Let's go to the next person. Your why is more important than how. We can show you how to do it, but we can't give you a why. Back to you, Brother Muhammad.
Thank you. Ronald Newton, you up. Ronald Newton. Moving on. Brother Jamal. Did I lose him?
Brother Muhammad.
Okay, there you go, Ronald.
Quick and simple. I'm the youngest of 6 boys, born and raised West Side Atlanta. My father worked his tail off, and so did my mother. They also instilled in me the wealth building principle of saving. When I found out about what the real money was, my father told me about gold a long time ago, but he didn't tell me about how to acquire it. And when I got with the wealth builders and they started telling me, man, it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. My why is I have a son. He also has autism. He's he struggles a bit in school, but he's still a bright child. I try to do a lot for him, and also make sure that he's not picked on, bullied, or anything by not only the students but teachers as well. I'd like to have him homeschool or private school, and this is one thing that I've been trying to do for the longest. Build up enough wealth that I could do this without even breaking a sweat. I could go in, pay for a school, or pay to have it done without a problem. Wealth Builders Worldwide has been the family that I never had. I've learned so much I've also learned so many things. And Mr. Best reminds me of my father. When I first heard him talk, I could have sworn it was my dad talking to me because that's just how loud my dad talks. Well, he used to talk. And it's like every time I hear him talk, he and Mr. Dalco both have instilled in me what I need to know. I couldn't learn this in school. I couldn't learn this in college, but I'm learning it now. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say, Debbie Shaw mentioned, I wasn't going to say anything, but I don't think I've said it too many times. My youngest, 20 years old now, of course, was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism.
Right.
And I don't want to go down that road, but bottom line is that, we've homeschooled him the whole time. And we're in a position, that's why, so I love this business because of things like that is done for me. I never had to put him in the system. I had more people say, the system would do this, the government would do this. I said, the government is not going to take care of my child, but I am. Not going to happen. And so because of networking, because of industry, we've been able to homeschool him and take care of him. Literally, he's here with us all the time. And he's educated by his family, his mother, father, and his big brother. So God bless networking. And you can do this thing, Mr. New. Make no mistake. And it's worth doing. And not just that, it drives me because I tell you, I'm not saving gold for me. I'm not making money for me. I'm not building this thing. I'm way beyond. Look, everything I do is for my boys. That's my major why.
Right.
Everything I do. Okay.
Right.
It wakes me up in the morning. Back to you, Mr. Brother Muhammad. That's why I said I didn't want to get started, man. And Debbie Shaw, I feel you. I understand it. And as far as I'm concerned, my sons will never, ever have a job, ever be concerned about money a day in their life.
Praise God.
That's my goal too.
Sis, where we are. Braden Cole. No, I'm sorry. There's someone else that just popped in. I just unmuted someone there. All right, Brother Braden.
Good evening, Brother Eric Teray Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Ready
for revolution.
It's necessary.
I've been listening to the testimonies and a couple of weeks ago on your 90-day road to 90 days to wealth seminar, I got a little emotional because I realized that Karatbars has brought me to a place that I've never been. I'm going to go back 3 years ago when Kay Coleman, my sponsor, called me and said, hey, we were in another thing at the time. She says, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. I need you to go to this link and sign up. I watched no video. I didn't even ask her what it was. She said we were doing it. I trust her. Boom, I signed up. Working a job and trying to maintain that job, I was slow, very slow to get started. And then she put me on a 3-way call with Brother Kevin 2X Thompson, and a fire got lit. I could not wait till Friday to get my package, and I started with a bronze. And I shared and I shared and I shared, and I tried to filter through people and get them to sign up. And I got a call with Mr. Michael Delco on the line, and Brother 2X, and Kay and Ronald Coleman. And my sponsors saw my efforts and saw my heart and loved me enough that they gifted me from bronze to VIP. So take number one, this family in Wealth Builders is a caring family, a nurturing family, a loving family, a driving family. Take two, I've been in network marketing off and on since probably 1993. As an active duty member in the Marine Corps, I was exposed to the Big A, but I never had teaching such as I have now with this Wealth Builders Worldwide family. Then I was introduced to Mr. Todd Best, and his sole doctrine is dream big. Develop a dream. That whole first first year and a half, I had no dream, I had no vision. I listened to the power calls, I listened to those things, to the empowerment call and all of the live streams I saw, but still had no dream. And then listening to Mr. Best and starting to focus in on Mr. Best's words, the dream started to develop. And now the dream is that my wife and my children will never have to work again. My sons will never know a job application. They won't need it. I have 2 boys in the house now, 15 and 12, and we have 6 grown kids. My mission at 51 years old has now shifted for their lives to never have to reflect what my life was prior to this.
Go ahead.
They won't know the struggle. All they will know is the ability to bless other people because they have been blessed. And Karatbars is a blessing. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I have more saved in physical asset than I have ever had in my life, and I've owned a 6-figure company. I can't wrap my head around that. I really can't. I owned a bodyguarding company in California when I was in the Marine Corps, and I made a great ton of money, but just as fast as I was making it, it was flying out the door. Every car I wanted, I threw money at it, not even breaking a sweat. Monthly payments, interest rates, the whole 9 yards. And now my mission is to get my wife and myself, my kids, and anybody who will listen out of that system. That is a system straight from the pit of hell. And it is meant to take us down. Brother Eric Teray, I want to thank you so much just for allowing me to lend my voice to this call. And I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to get emotional and I can go on for hours. Thank you so much, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We thank you, brother. And we thank you for all the victories that you announced in our 90-day run to wealth. A true testimony. And speaking of victories, we are bringing up next the 3-time gold director elite in his business, his family's business, his business. Dr. Sergio Rozelle, you're up.
Good evening, Mr. Muhammad and Wealth Builds Worldwide family. What do you say? You know, I'm going to be very brief. This has just been a tremendous thing. Mr. Eric Teray Muhammad, thank you, sir, for putting this together and inviting us all out here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Karatbars International, for me, came along in my life when I was going through a transition. And I was introduced to it by a gentleman that I served in the ministry with, Dexter Hurd. And he told me about gold and how it could help other people. And I always wanted to be a part of gold. And I've been in networking for years and I learned a lot. And he got me on the phone with Michael Dalco. We did a 3-way call and I got started. And I don't want to be short because, you know, these allergies are kicking in right now. But I just wanted to simply say that if it wasn't for Karatbars International, I would not be able to be the father that I am to my daughter, who's going into her senior year in college. I would not be able to sit here with Wonder Woman at my hip 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She's sitting right here. If you ever want to know where she is, just find me. That's where she is. But I get to do that. So my mother gets to retire in dignity. And we get to have an opportunity to work with so many wonderful people around the world. And we're a family. We really come together. And of course, there's so much more that I could say, just like everybody else on here, but I want to respect everybody's time, you know, and I just want to say thank you. I don't want to go down the list because obviously we know we have so many folks to thank, right? Especially our leadership. But I want to thank each and every one of you because I tell you, you know, we talk about Eagle Team, you know, we're gladiators. We say wings up, keep soaring. And that means something. That means something. Wings up. I see you, Mrs. Elliott, Ms. Butcher. Yes, sir, Mr. Best, thank you. So with that being said, my profession is AU, AU, AU. Success is voluntary. Love you all. Back to you, Mr. Tariq Muhammad.
Thank you, dear sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Sergio Roselle. Miss Monica Logan in the house.
Hey, Brother Eric Ture Muhammad, thank you so much for providing this platform. Also want to say thank you for the generations that poured into you so you now can pour into us. And I love this family atmosphere. You know, I've been to many of the events once upon a time when we can get together, which have been phenomenal. But I'm Monica Logan out of Riverdale, Georgia. I actually got in the business October 2018. My uncle, Mr. Alfred Wright, invited me to see a webinar. He's like, hey, on Tuesday night, get on this webinar. He didn't tell me much. He didn't follow the system. He didn't do any of that stuff. Nothing against him. But I got on the webinar and I saw Karatbars across the header of the page. I didn't need to see the rest of that video because I was already seeking precious metals and gems. I was always knowing that I needed to have assets. Even in, you know, working in the corporate world, I knew that I was not a corporate person. I was that square peg trying to fit into that round hole, you know, always making my job an entrepreneurial venture. You know, I always, you know, was asked to be a part of leadership, you know, in a small span of time of being in anybody's corporation. And I realized, you know, this is just not for me. So I walked away from corporate America. There was a few, you know, pressuring factors that made me do so. I'm glad I did, but I was always into being a, you know, like a life and health agent. And what I said, listen, finally, I'm going to go into the stock market. I'm going to get my securities license. I'm getting ready to help everybody get, you know, financially free. And every time I studied that Series 6 and 63, there was something hurting in my heart area. I said, I cannot do this to people. I cannot gamble with their life savings. And I just stopped. And when I got Karatbars into my life, I said, this is it. Because see, what you have to understand is assets are going to add to you. And that's what I taught my 8-year-old granddaughter, Madison. I asked her, what is an asset? She says, over time, it's going to give you more. I said, that's right. And I said, what is a liability? She said, that takes away from you. So I'm teaching my generations, you know, I'm just loving this business because, you know, as it relates to the savings, I'm a mother of 3. I'm a wife of 30 plus years. You know, I give. That's what mothers and grandmothers do. I've saved more money in these 18 months than I have ever, you know, and I'm talking about substantial savings that right now I'm a wife and a grandmother who's co-parenting. I'm not even working, you know, and what's seeking you is what you're seeking. So just open up, man, it's going to come to you. The people are going to come. They're going to call you up based on you, Monica. I'm going to sign up. Well, hey, you know, you don't have to, it's not that difficult. If you just open up, you know, remain coachable. You know, Dr. Sergio Roselle is on this call. You know, he's one of those leaders that have reached out. He walks the walk that he talks. You know, Mr. Murray, I already knew, you know, over 20 years being his friend, this is a no-brainer. He was the trainer when I got on the webinar. I was like, stop the webinar. We're going to do this, you know, so that's my story. I'm sticking with it. You know, I love each and every one of you. All your stories are amazing. Mr. Best, oh my God, you are the epitome of freedom. I love you. Mr. Dalco, you and your family, y'all always have one with me. God bless each and every one of y'all. And I turn it back over to you, Brother Muhammad.
God bless you. Thank you so much for that testimony. You all know who's up next, Sister Noreen Charles. Where you at, Noreen? You might be muted. Noreen, you there? Can barely hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear Mr. Muhammad. We'll go to the next one.
Okay. That will be Edith Smith, the Gold Diva. Sister Edith. All right.
I'm trying to.
You got
Can
you. We
you
hear
hear?
you.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you so much. A couple of my friends, that's who you all are, made a couple of statements that basically referred to what I was going to say. But first of all, I am just so humbled to be among all of you. Karatbars has taught me things that I never knew about. And at the age that I am at retirement, I had to figure out a way to prepare myself for whatever years that I have left to live comfortably. And along came Karatbars. I have more wealth than I thought that I would ever have at this time. And I am just so blessed to be here because of Miss Ra's range. She brought the a concept to me, and I looked at it, and finally I looked at it, and I made the right decision. You know, I think it was Miss Dixon spoke about the 401s. I had a pearl clutching moment when I looked at mine and I saw what had happened. Uh, I had to close mine out, regardless to what, because when they hit, I had two. When they hit, I lost a serious amount of money. So I felt you when you spoke about that, Miss Dixon. Um, and to Ken Nixon, when he talked about the insurance, that's what we need. We all got life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, but to have financial insurance, that's what we all need to get, is financial insurance. And Karatbars is that financial insurance to back us up for whatever we are going or whatever we want to do, whatever our dreams are, you know. I am just happy to be here. And I guess that's all I want to say. And I know I sound like I might be rambling, but Karatbars is the place to be. Uh, Thank you so much, Miss Range and Mr. and Mrs. Dalco and Mr. and Mrs. Best and all the other leaders that I glean information from. I have learned so much in my golden years. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Edith. Thank you so much. You and your golden years. That's the diva, y'all. All right, Miss Noreen Childs, I see you back. You with us? Miss Noreen. Still barely hear you. We'll try it again. Brother Darryl Matthews, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to be quick. I know we're at the top of the hour. Well, you know, I'm going to be real honest about my first experience with Karatbars. You know, what attracted me was actually the KBC, when it was very hard to actually move from one count to the other. But what I didn't know about Karatbars is I didn't know how it would change my life. And the day that I was able to meet Michael Delco, and I'm not ashamed to say he's actually my favorite mentor. You know, my life has never been the same since I met that man. And I heard him say one day, you know, let people hear your heart. And you know, because sometimes people may not hear what he has to say, but they might hear you. And Karatbars has, you know, just tremendously done a new thing in my life, whereas my conversations are different. My mindset is different. And it's brought out things in me that I didn't even think I had in myself. And that's just the beauty of when you're part of something and you're around great people. It does something to you, and you just want to share that with other people. And it's not even about just getting rich. It's about being a part of something that can help change lives. And that's what it's done for me. And my life has never been the same. And I can be honest about that. And And I even have a job, but the beauty of having a job is you get to use your job to finance your business. So you really, it's an extra incentive for you to even build your business even better. So, and the best is yet to come. I truly believe that. And even if we're sitting on the sidelines watching great people like Ty Best, like Michael Delco, Tanisha Glassman, and I can go on. Even being on the sidelines, you're still around greatness. And it's just a matter of time that our chance will come. And I'm just loving the opportunity, man. I'm in Karatbars till I die, brother.
And well, you're in and beyond that. Sorry, folks, you can't get out that easy. We're talking about generational wealth and legacies. You blew that one. All right, family, we are close to the top of the hour. We have 4 left in the queue. We're gonna move real fast. Thank you, and brother Jamuriel Handy.
Thank you, Jamiria Handy.
Jamuriel, I'm sorry. Hey, sister.
I'm not gonna charge it to your heart though. But hey everybody, I'm Jamiria Handy, originally from Canton, Mississippi, but I've been in Jackson, Mississippi all of my life. Just a quick background on myself. I come from a single parent household, which now I'm also in a single parent household with me and my son. But growing up, coming close to the age of 15, my mom, it just was something that was going on. Like we all had to get our permits so we can get a car and just get a job. So from therefore, the age of 15, I started working, and that's all I knew, just to work. And school became less important, but I made a good enough grades just to graduate. But I worked just because I knew I needed to work to have money to get the things that I wanted and needed. So to fast forward to when I was 19, that's when I had my son. And then I continued to work and started to work in the manufacturing industry. Then after that, still had my son, got into a 401k. And then after a while, I said, you know what, I ain't got time for this. Draw all my little $800 out on the loan, got it out, then getting back in. So then after that, after having my son, I'm like, I was struggling a little bit, just to fast forward some more to just later on last year, 2019, as I was working for, I'm just gonna be transparent, I was working for the company of Nissan, and I was there for 4.5 years up until last week. But after I was working there and I was still temp and the benefits were so poor, and I'm like, something got to happen, something got to be better. So I ended up fracturing a bone in my leg. So then I didn't know that I didn't have short-term disability and that type of thing. I didn't know I had to pay for that, because some people, they pay it for you, but I didn't know. So at that time, February last year, fractured my bone. Still, I was on my mother's insurance because I was still 25 at the time. And I went 3 months, had to sit at home, couldn't work, didn't have any money coming in. So as me also being a home owner, I'm like, bills started stacking up. My child going to private school, that bill started stacking up. Still got to have light, water, and gas and food as well. So I ended up starting an online boutique, but it was still difficult because you have to have so much money to buy a product and then try to sell it. So after a while, just to fast forward, 2019, just so happened I was on Facebook, joined this women's group, business women group, and I heard this young lady, I know y'all know her, Lakeisha McKnight. I met her, she was just doing the talk, a live stream, and she was mentioning if you're looking for free wealth mentorship. And I'm just tuning in because I hardly ever even be on that in that particular group. But I was tuning in and just listening to her, and I want the info. So then she inboxed me, we traded numbers, did the 3-way call the next day. And so the next day I talked to her, and I knew a little bit about what she was saying, but not a whole lot, because I never knew anything just about assets. All people talk about is 401ks and pensions and that type of thing. But I was just like, no, what can hurt me when I already went through so much, and my job didn't help me. I just bills stacking up, and once I got back to work, I had to try to catch those bills up, or I was gonna lose my house or anything else. So after 2 days, or the next day I want to say 2 days after that, on July the 7th, that's when I registered And I remember getting on that Sunday night train. I want to say Mr. Rodney Berger was hosting that training, and Mr. Best and Tanisha, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but y'all was talking about y'all trip to Las Vegas. And then I was like, Lord, I'm out here crying because everybody else was crying, and they was talking about, nobody being sleeping in their car, because that was the guy was saying how he just made his way to Vegas, slept in his car. And I'm just like, coming from a place where you do so much for some people and it's not reciprocated, and just seeing these people that don't know each other from John, and they just each other and being family, like, and consider each other as family and help one another. I'm like, this is something I got to do. So then on after then, I just plugged in and been steady plugged in. Out of
All right, we thank you. Family, we are out of time. We are out of time, but we want to close out with our leaders. I want to thank you for plugging in and getting on. And I know there'll be another again. I see that Y hugging you there, Mrs. Handy. Closing comments from our leaders, Mr. Dalco, Mr. Best.
I'm gonna be quiet and let you sneak in those last two people.
All right. And it looked like they jumped off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they jumped off, sir.
Okay, guys, I told you I could do this all night. I love hearing stories. We're gonna have to do it again. And we'll also have to teach you. We're gonna show you how to package your testimonial. Okay, we'll teach you. We'll do a session on how to package your testimonial, because you got to get your story down to 2 minutes, folks. This is what we got to teach everybody to do, how to get your story down to 2 minutes. Okay, so we can get as many stories as possible. I guarantee, because the next time we do this, it's really gonna be packed. Brother Eric Tariq Muhammad, outstanding job. Brother Stevens, I wanted to say to you, man, outstanding job. And I love the fact you talk about how you got an education, making $7 grand a year, still no money. Good God Almighty. I mean, these stories, this is what people need to hear. Stories tell facts. Stories sell, facts tell. These stories are the most important thing, man. I would say get this out to everybody you can. I hope we record it. I hope we can get it out to everybody. Mr. Dalco, you want to add something? I'm done. I see you at 9 o'clock.
Ready for the presentation tonight. Whoever invited you to this call, I know you didn't get the content of what we're talking about, but the most important thing is why we're talking about it. Get back with the person that shared this. We've got a presentation coming up in 5 minutes. It is at www.goldrocks.info. That's GOLDROCKS. You'll get to find out what it is all these people are excited about, what they're saving money for the first time in their life, how they're doing that, and how they're getting paid by referrals. So thank you, Mr. Eric Trey Muhammad. Back to you.
Thank you, family. Family, www.goldrocks.info. www.goldrocks.info. You can't lose anything by trying it, but you can't gain anything if you don't. You have nothing to lose but your chains. I'll see you there at a wealth building live event. Peace and power.
Awesome.
Shout out Mr. Best. Shout out Mr. Dalco.
Peace and love, family.
Thank you, CC.
Lots of love.
Tab. Hey,
Love
Freedom.
Blessings to everyone.
Soaring like an eagle, y'all.
Soaring.
Eagle.
Oh, Patriots Trish. Okay, I see that eagle. Oh, everybody.
Hey, Kevin. Rise Range.
God bless everyone.
Rise Range in the house.
Danny just
Thank you,
Coach Delco. The best.
Richard Soto in the house.
for Sunday, Rob.
In the house.
Brother Finest.
What you doing?
Mr. Candace Parker. Yolanda.
All right, get the gold rocks. Bring your team. Get the gold rocks. Right now. Get
Good to see everybody. Nobody wants to hang up.
All right. Winnie Brown.
Hey.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Karatbars, baby. Karatbars is it?
Oh.
Kevin 2X.
Get enough of that family.
The Kevin 2X.
Boss it
Found
up.
my tribe.
Awesome call. Awesome.
Thank y'all for being my tribe.
Y'all just make sure y'all on that presentation.
Great job, Daryl
Thank you, Brother
Matthews.
Eric.
Dr. Sergio Roselle, blessings,
My
brother. Good
laptop
evening. Thank you,
kept
sir.
going out. I
Cody,
Sir.
sir.
couldn't get on knock out of the way, but I wasn't giving up.
Cutting you short, girl.
50 people left.